She'd sworn off love the day her father's business partner walked away with everything, including her trust. Now, sitting in this dimly lit cafe for what she'd promised herself would be the absolute last blind date, Victoria Chen felt nothing but the familiar numbness she'd perfected over 7 brutal years of clawing her way to the top. At 32, she'd built an empire from her family's ashes, earning a reputation as the ice queen of Manhattan's tech world. Love was a luxury she couldn't afford, a weakness that destroyed empires. But when the cafe door opened and a frazzled single father rushed in with a dinosaur backpack still strapped to his shoulders and apologies tumbling from his lips, something she'd buried deep began to crack. Victoria checked her watch for the 3rd time. He was 17 minutes late. She should leave. This was exactly why she'd stopped dating 3 years ago. The disappointment, the wasted time, the inevitable realization that people always wanted something from her. Her assistant, Maya, had begged her to give this one last chance, even set up the whole thing behind her back. Just one date, Vic. He's different, I promise. Different. Victoria almost laughed into her untouched coffee. Everyone claimed to be different until they discovered who she really was. Victoria Chen, CEO of Chen Innovations, the woman who'd turned a bankrupt company into a billion-dollar enterprise through sheer will in 16-hour workdays. Then suddenly, they all wanted the same things: investments, connections, a piece of her success. The door burst open, bringing a gust of October wind and a man who looked like he'd run a marathon. He was tall, with kind eyes that crinkled at the corners and dark hair slightly messy from the wind. But what caught Victoria's attention was the small dinosaur backpack slung over his shoulder and the genuine panic in his expression as his eyes found hers. "Victoria," he asked breathlessly, rushing to her table. "I'm so sorry. I'm Alex Moreno. My daughter's babysitter canceled last minute, and I had to drop Sophie at my neighbor's, but then she couldn't find her favorite stuffed elephant, and—" He paused, finally noticing the backpack. His face flushed as he quickly pulled it off. "And apparently I'm still wearing my daughter's backpack. This is going great." Despite herself, Victoria felt the corner of her mouth twitch. "Sit down before you hyperventilate." Alex collapsed into the chair, looking genuinely mortified. "I can leave if you want. I'd understand completely. I know I'm late, and this is—" "You're here now," Victoria interrupted, surprising herself. There was something disarming about his authenticity. No practiced charm. No calculating smile. Just a frazzled single dad having a rough evening. As Alex ordered coffee with shaking hands, Victoria studied him. His jacket was worn but clean, his watch was practical rather than flashy, and when he smiled at the waitress, thanking her warmly, there was no pretense in it. He was either the world's best actor or genuinely just a good person. She'd almost forgotten those existed. "So," Alex said once he'd caught his breath, "Maya probably told you I'm a teacher. 4th grade at PS 118 in Queens. She mentioned it." Victoria waited for the inevitable, the moment when he'd ask about her work, her company, her net worth. "It's the best job in the world," Alex continued, his whole face lighting up. "Yesterday, one of my students, Marcus, he's been struggling all year, finally understood long division. You should have seen his face. Like he'd just discovered fire." He laughed, then seemed to catch himself. "Sorry, I talk about my kids too much. 10-year-olds are basically my whole life. Well, them and Sophie. She's 5, and already smarter than me." Victoria leaned back, genuinely intrigued. "You haven't asked what I do." Alex blinked. "Maya said you were in tech. I figured you'd tell me if you wanted to. I'm more curious about you as a person. Like, what made you agree to this blind date?" "Maya said you don't really date." The directness caught her off guard. Most people danced around personal questions. My assistant is persistent. This was easier than listening to her lecture me about dying alone with my quarterly reports. "Ah, you work too much, intervention. I get that from my mom weekly." Alex grinned. "Though in my case, she's probably right. Between teaching and Sophie, I haven't had a life in about 5 years. Since my wife." His expression flickered with old pain. "Since Sophie's mom passed away. Cancer. It was fast." Victoria's chest tightened unexpectedly. "I'm sorry." "Thank you." Alex's voice was soft but steady. "It's been 3 years. Some days are harder than others, but Sophie's my world. She keeps me going." He looked up, meeting Victoria's eyes. What keeps you going? No one had ever asked her that. Not like this. Not like the answer actually mattered. Proving everyone wrong, she said finally. My father built a company from nothing. When he died, his partner embezzled everything, left us with nothing but debt and a ruined name. Everyone said I should just let it go, start over with something smaller. I refused. So you rebuilt it all yourself, Alex said quietly. It wasn't a question. Every brick, every employee, every contract. Victoria felt the familiar steel in her voice. I worked 90-hour weeks, slept in my office, missed every birthday and holiday for 7 years. And now Chen Innovations is worth more than my father ever dreamed of. But, Alex asked gently, but what? There's always a but. With stories like that. What did you give up? Victoria's throat tightened. No one asked these questions. No one saw past the success to the cost. Everything else, she whispered. Friends, family, any chance at a normal life. I look at my life sometimes and realize I can't remember the last time I laughed until I couldn't breathe, or did something just because it was fun, or let myself need someone. Alex was quiet for a moment. Can I tell you something? I used to be like that. After Caroline died, I threw myself into work, into being the perfect parent, into controlling everything because I was terrified of losing anything else. Then one day, Sophie made me breakfast, burned toast and orange juice with so much pulp it was basically sludge. She was so proud, and I started crying right there at the table. You know what she said? Victoria shook her head, not trusting her voice. She said, Daddy, it's okay to be sad. But you can be happy too. You can be both. Alex smiled through the sheen in his eyes. 5 years old and she understood what I'd forgotten. Life isn't about controlling everything or protecting yourself from pain. It's about showing up, being present, letting people in even when it's terrifying. Something broke open in Victoria's chest. I don't know if I remember how to let people in. Sure you do. Alex reached across the table, stopping just short of touching her hand. You're doing it right now. You're here, you're talking to me, you're being real instead of whatever armor you usually wear. That's brave, Victoria. They talked for 3 hours. About Alex's students and Sophie's obsession with dinosaurs. About Victoria's rare book collection and her secret love of terrible reality TV. About loss and fear and the strange courage it took to keep trying after life knocked you down. When they finally left the cafe, Manhattan was alive with Saturday night energy. Alex turned to her, hesitant. Can I see you again? Maybe somewhere Sophie can come too. She'd love to meet you. Fair warning though, she'll interrogate you about your favorite dinosaur. It's a test. Victoria felt something she hadn't felt in 7 years, hope mixed with terror. I don't know anything about kids. Perfect. Sophie can teach you. She's very bossy about it. Alex's smile was warm and real. What do you say? Take a chance on us. Victoria thought about her empty penthouse, her perfectly ordered life, the walls she'd built so carefully. Then she thought about Alex's kind eyes and the way he'd seen past her armor to the lonely woman underneath. She thought about a 5-year-old girl who understood that you could be both sad and happy, that life was big enough for all of it. Okay, she whispered. One chance. That's all we need, Alex said softly. As Victoria walked home that night, she called Maya. You were right. He is different. I know, Maya said smugly. So when's date 2? Next Saturday. With a 5-year-old dinosaur expert. Victoria Chen, voluntarily spending time with a child. He must be magic. Victoria smiled, really smiled, for the first time in longer than she could remember. Maybe we both are. Maybe that's what happens when you finally let someone see you, really see you, and they choose to stay anyway. 3 months later, Sophie would draw a picture of the 3 of them at the park, with Victoria's hand carefully drawn holding hers. The title, in wobbly 5-year-old handwriting, My New Best Friend Who Doesn't Know About Dinosaurs But Is Learning. Victoria would frame it and put it on her office desk, a reminder that the bravest thing she'd ever built wasn't an empire, it was the courage to let love in again.